Aloha, hello, my dear lovelies. How are you doing today? I'm sure you're doing great. Thank you for joining me on the I Am Maggie Love channel, and I am Maggie. What do you know? And I'm so grateful you joined me because this time is really special, and I'm hoping what we do helps you and helps the world. So, when you do get a chance, hit subscribe and like, and I love your comments. What we have been doing is a slow crawl through the magic of everyday life by Maria Szepes. And I'm hoping that you're beginning to see some of the magic and beauty in your life. So as we kind of slow crawl through it, it has little nuggets everywhere that can help you on your process to becoming your best version of you, giving your gifts of purpose and self uh, healing and service to others. So whatever it does for you, um, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear. So we are in chapter 9. It's controlling our emotional world, and we're picking up where we left off. In our world, where the majority of experiences are unfavorable, we need every drop of psychological stamina. Okay, so we need the psychological, we need our heads clear, yes, so we can endure through the end. And these psychological challenges and emotional challenges, heart challenges, physical challenges, every one of them has the seed of wisdom and compassion to help make you the most magnificent being that you are. So let us not spend time regretting things that cannot be changed, but look for the hidden meaning behind events and how they serve to elevate humanity. Okay, let's read that again. There's so many pearls in this book. I mean, that's why it's a slow crawl, because every little crawl there's a pearl, there's a diamond, there's an emerald. There might even be, maybe it's not that, maybe it's a strawberry, a raspberry, or whatever it is in life that you just find to be magical and helpful. So let's say that again. Let us not spend time regretting things that cannot be changed, but look for the hidden meaning behind events and how they serve to elevate humanity. So, first part one, let's not spend time regretting things that cannot be changed. Okay, a lot of us get stuck in these feedback loops of regret. And depending on, sometimes the way you were raised, the religion you were raised in, sometimes that's the form of punishment and control used to keep you in line. So they don't have to do anything. They just implant something into your mind. And that thing just keeps, bearing yucky fruit, right? Because that person, you don't need anyone outside to torture them because they torture themselves. They punish themselves. They put themselves down. Well, let's release ourselves from that. Let's start letting go of regret of things that cannot be changed. And I'm not saying to not take rightful responsibility when you know you've done something wrong. I'm saying that if you are looping through a loop and almost like a dark tunnel, and you're staying in there because you continue to lament over something that cannot be changed, we have to release that. Next part is we're going to be looking for hidden meaning behind events and how they serve to elevate humanity. So what you're going through isn't just about you, it's about all of humanity. This is one of the most beautiful things. Anytime that you do the inner work, and then you overcome the challenge, you become a wise sage. You have wisdom, you have courage, you have insight that no one else can have. You also have healing. And so then you go out into the world and you help somebody else. So let's say somebody is going through a divorce and you've been through it before. And then you come alongside and you help that person, quickly move through the regret, quickly move through the processes, quickly. And I'm not talking about like suppressing, I'm talking like really moving through something to have their best life. You're upgrading yourself and you're upgrading humanity. And the other thing too, the thing about the hidden meaning behind events. I talk about this a lot. Learned a lot of this from many teachers, but Richard Grannon is one of them out there. And he talks about shadow work, our darkness being put into the light. So we're trying to take something that is Okay, it's gone into the unconscious, so you're running these loops, and a lot of times you might be aware of it, but most of the time you're not, so you're just immediately like asleep, reacting, acting. We're going to take those unconscious patterns, bring them up to be conscious, clean them up, and then they're going to go back into the unconscious, and your life's going to upgrade. And when you upgrade, all of humanity upgrades. So bravo, bravo. Okay, let's keep going. Because it is certain that they have such a constructive meaning, whose formula dissolves and ameliorates our biting emotions, acting as a stimulus for growth. So all pain, all learning, all challenges, all overcoming are stimulus for growth. If you are in the dark night of the soul, or you are just in a dark place right now, I want you to start looking around in the ashes. You know, you are the phoenix. Look through the ashes and look for the embers of wisdom, the embers of courage, the embers of love and knowledge. Pick them up and evaluate them, because you are coming out of that dark night. You are coming out of that negative place today, right here, right now. And you don't have to believe, you just need to know that God is coming for you. The universe is going to come to uplift you. There's going to be signs, and there's going to be things that are going to dissolve, energies that are going to come to and dissolve these things, and they are your stimulus for growth. So stop taking it any other way than I am amazing and I'm going to grow from this. I'm going to pick up my responsibility and I'm going to do this. It's not just for me, it's for all of humanity. So recognizing the meaning of appearances always has a sublime, hope-inspiring effect, right? Because it's like in everything, so there's different levels of consciousness. And sometimes when you're in the higher levels, hope is a beggar. But in this case, if we're in the below hope, hope is important. It's the bridge over into the higher vibrations. So we love to be inspiring and having that hope-inspired effect. So never, ever give up. It would be entirely a mistake, of course, to underestimate the power and intensity of injuries, wounds, and stimuli of a spiritual nature. So let's hear that again, because I want to just let you know, if you are going through a hard time and you are consumed by whatever types of pain, depression, what have you, I want you to know that I'm not dismissing your injuries or your wounds or your stimulus of pain. What I'm saying to you is it's time to get off the floor. It's time to get off the mat. It's time to get off the dirt. It's time to get off whatever it is that is keeping you from your destiny of greatness, of purpose, of service, of full actualization. So let's read it again. It would be entirely a mistake, of course, to underestimate the power and intensity of injuries, wounds, and stimuli of a spiritual nature. And it's like any nature: physical nature, emotional nature, spiritual nature, mental nature, what have you. And especially if you are coming out of the abuse or trauma or things like this, be gentle to yourself. It is a process. But I promise you, if you do the work, you're going to be a superstar. That's what you are. Bright and bright to see for you and me. Yeah, because let me tell you, that's what I'm learning about trauma, abuse, and really over the top life situations. It's actually God in the universe is coming to you to develop you into a truly superhuman that is able to pull up your bootstraps and get out there and help. And also, have your best life as well. So it is a fact of experience that psychological pain far exceeds that of the body, which at least can be sedated through various means without our losing consciousness. So listen to that. Psychological pain far exceeds that of the body, which at least can be sedated through various means without losing our consciousness. So, like I was saying again, a lot of people who are abusive or who are not in the right, maybe that's their role in this life, but they're not in the right state of mind, and they are implanting things into people's minds, their hearts, that are sour seeds, or they, and those things, that person, once that seed's implanted, and if that person receives it, it could be because they're a little child, or it could be because they're in a vulnerable state, or they're in a health crisis or whatever. That person doesn't even need to do Mr. Batty, doesn't need to Miss Batty, doesn't need to do anything anymore. That is going to continue to do its own work, and that person will torment and torture themselves through these, wrong thought forms. So, yeah, spiritual anguish, however, can only be diminished through conscious distraction temporarily. So you can distract yourself from spiritual anguish, but if it's in there, it's going to keep looping and coming back. And a lot of us are aware that we go through times in our life. It's a spectrum. Sometimes you're walking on sunshine, hey. And other times you're like, I'm walking in hell, oh. It's like, it can depend on where you are at in your life, but your distraction will only work temporarily. And in those cases, when somebody is abusing drugs, alcohol, anything, it's definitely very temporary. That's why you got to go out, not just for physiological and physical things, but you got to go get that next fix, because now those forms are right in your face. Like demons, we call them our inner demons, or sometimes people want to put the demons outside. That's definitely also something that goes on. But I'm just saying, let's cut the ones at least that we can stop feeding within. We are not talking about some runaway psychological illness or passion here, which we can stop in an instant at its most vehement crisis point through some mere incantation. Yeah, so we're talking about the big time things, yeah? Rather, we wish to direct attention to the fact that every manifestation, without exception, has a moment of conception. So I'm going to give that to you once again. We wish to direct attention to the fact that every manifestation, without exception, has a moment of conception. So if you're in a hard spot right now, I don't want you taking this negative to add more negativity onto that. I want you to realize and just to see the embers in the ashes, because you're the phoenix, you're coming out. Those embers carry many things for you to carry out of this situation to bloom into the full phoenix that don't play. The phoenix don't play. The phoenix comes up out of the ashes, like Jesus came up out of the grave. The phoenix comes up out of the ashes, and the phoenix is done, son. Done with all the poo-poo. So, every manifestation in our lives has a moment of conception. If you do not like what you're seeing in life, we want to track back those moments of conception. This is not to make you feel bad or guilt. Shame loops, anger loops only lead to more of that. Just realize there is a moment of conception. And when we capture that, we can clean it up, uproot it, and then it's done. And you are replenished with energy, love, joy, and the things that many of you are working very hard to manifest. And every subsequent development depends on this conception and is encompassed to its charge. So, moment of conception, now that mofo gets charged. And guess what? When something's charged, if you charge a Tesla car, that thing's going to drive. So if we charge our negativity, it's going to drive us. If we charge our positivity, it's going to drive us. If we have negativity and we're not sure, why am I doing this? Let's look for that moment of conception, because it's leading to the manifestation. We do not want to continue to charge this. As Richard Grandin says, as Brian Scott says, as Renee Garcia says it, as Elmer O'Locker says, as Wayne Dyer says it, as Louise Hay says it, as Jesus says it, as Buddha said, all of them encouraged us to go within and to find out what was within us that needed to be cleaned up. So we are on it. All right. Therefore, let us be careful with hopes, vainglory, unfounded and unwise exceptions, and conditions we extol. So we are seeing a lot of this right now in our culture. People are putting the value of a thing over the person. many things are shifting and changing. And as some people are not able to keep up, they're labeled bad. And as other people have more, they're labeled good. This is not so. We don't want to get caught up. Everybody has a bad time in their life. Like everybody has peaks and valleys. When COVID hit, they had a lot, I don't know the exact number, but there was a lot of millionaires and up who were killing themselves. So they had plenty of money. They had all this stuff. But guess what? They didn't have relationship and connection. So you got to have the full, when you're talking about the bag, like Cardi B talks about getting the bag, it's not just the bag of money. You want to get the bag in your heart. You want to get the bag in your mind. You want to get the bag, the total bag, okay? Because a bag of money ain't going to do it all. What good is it if you have all this money, but you have no relationships? Or what good is it if you have all this money and you don't have your health, right? So we are total beings, and we're going to treat ourselves this way. Okay, so because their materialization becomes our future dishonor, bitterness, and disappointment. So those hopes, vainglory, unfounded and unwise expectations, and conditions we extol. We put things on a pedestal, right? We put, people on a pedestal. We look at other people and wish we had their life when we really have a perfectly wonderful life here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't wonderful. You matter. You. All you. We matter. And together and apart, we are the I am, we are the we are. So we all each have to do our work. Don't look over there and say, oh, I wish I had that. You can put that script in and manifest it, but realize that who you are is exactly who the earth and God has called you to be at this time. Because we don't need that stuff bringing dishonor, bitterness, and disappointment. Okay. I hope that you enjoyed today, and we will just keep going with this because this book is bomb-tastic, and so are you guys. I'm really grateful that you joined me. So when you do get a chance, please hit subscribe and like, leave your comments, and I'm just thankful for all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful day because I know you are wonderful. When you do get a chance, please hit like and subscribe and leave your comments. Okay, and you all know what's coming next. Remember, peace in, peace